Hello, I hope everyone's doing well and I hope you're having a great week. I have had a little bit of a crazy week with all my little people and everything. And I got to thinking about weight loss and about all the things that we hear about what's the best way to lose weight, what is not good, all these particulars. I have 6 children, and 4 of them have PKU. And if you don't know what PKU is, it is like when a baby is born and they do the little finger stick and they poke the foot, and they put the blood on the little round circles. Well, that's what they're checking for. They're checking for metabolic disorders. There's, I think, 27 different metabolic disorders. And so they're checking, Alabama checks for 19 of those. A lot of states don't even check that many. Some states don't even check for PKU. So there's a lot of kids that have these different disorders that they may not even know about because they're not getting checked for that particular thing when they're born. And with PKU, if you don't catch it within the first month of birth, then there's irreversible damage. So, which can cause brain damage. It can cause hyperactivity. It can cause all kinds of stuff like that you don't want your child to have to go through. You don't want them to not be able to learn at their optimal best. So it means that their liver is not breaking down the amino acids like it's supposed to in their food, and so they're not able to eat certain proteins, and so they can't have any, like ours are not quite as bad as some other people, so we can't have any protein at all, which I know sounds horrible, but it's still not as bad as some. Like mine can have a little bit of cheese and a little bit of peanut butter, where there's a lot of kids that can't even have that period at all. We have a special formula that they drink, and it gives them the protein that they can have that allows their body to grow. The only bad thing with that is that it has lots of sugar in it. So then, of course, you're going off the deep end on another direction. So weight for us is a big issue all the time because a lot of their meals consist of carbs and things like that. As we know, carbs are not the best thing for us, and we go in this little cycle all the time. There's this cycle. So as I have learned over the years trying to figure out the best way to help them in the my oldest son that has PKU is 15. So trying to help him, he also plays football, so he has to be able to exercise. The exercising actually helps to ramp up some of the protein release that goes out into his body, which, therefore is not really awesome either. So there's always these little things we have to tweak and work on all the time. Several years ago, like my whole life, I struggled with weight, always. And especially once I had children, then I was like, I'd get over 200 pounds, and then I would try to lose it, and I would get to 160. Sometimes I might get to 140, and for me, I'm 5'1", so like I'm short. So like my ideal weight's like 120, 125, thereabouts. So for me, that was like horrible to, like trying. I mean, like I was just this little round butterball, and it was always so hard, especially having a baby. So when Jake was a baby, I never thought anything about carbs. I just thought, oh, well, okay, he won't have protein, so that means that we're going to eat. He can have the breads, he can have, the sugar. I never thought about what that was doing to our body at all. Like, none of that kind of stuff ever, like, entered my consciousness at all when it came to what we were eating on a regular basis. And it wasn't until I started when I had baby number 5, I realized that my whole body had completely changed. I was not able to, like where I could lose a little bit of weight after I had one of the kids, I was not losing weight at all. And I was hurting constantly. Everything I ate hurt my stomach. Everything that I did, I was just in pain all the time. I was miserable, and I was still 200 pounds and could not do anything. And I felt like I was dying the slow death. I found out I was borderline diabetic, which I don't really think there's borderline. I think it's just simply that there's diabetes. But I mean, that's what they told me. But my numbers were bad at any rate, and I had high blood pressure, and they were wanting to put me on medicine for that. And I was like, oh, please no. And my cholesterol was way off. I mean, like, everything was beginning to just go awry, and it threw me into this little bit of a depression of, I can't function doing this. I mean, I'm not going to grow old to see my baby grow up. And I couldn't get in the floor with him and play because I was too miserable and I hurt too bad. I couldn't get up and down. My feet hurt so bad I couldn't stand up on my feet. I had to just sit. I mean, I was miserable. So I could not exercise. I did not know what to do about food. And so finally one day I went to the bookstore and I was like, okay, I've got to find something to make this work, make something happen. And I stood there for, I know, hours looking through every kind of weight loss book there was, everything. I finally, as I went through and looked at everything, I looked at Atkins. And I thought, okay, I can kind of, I love meat. That's not going to help my kids. I can't have the meat, so that's not going to do them any good. But if I can get to feeling better, then I can help them better. So I just did it. So I started, I just put everything into it. I started, took away all the breads, everything. I mean, like, you're down to just meat, not raw meat, but you're down to meat and you're down to vegetables. I mean, like, certain vegetables, not many, certain vegetables. And so I did that for months and lost weight really fast. And through that process, I was able to find things that was helping me to feel better. Like, I began to realize that my stomach did not hurt anymore. My feet did not hurt anymore. My cognitive thinking was better. I mean, it was just like this big, huge weight being lifted. It was crazy. I was still struggling with postpartum depression and having this new baby along, 5 kids just in general. And so that was really the biggest toll at the time. And a homeschool on top of that. So I was feeling like I was not being able to function the way I needed to help them, which was making me feel worse. And I was feeling very negative about myself and I had a horrible self-image. I mean, like, it was just horrible. So as I went through this process, I began to start trying to figure out how could I better help my kids. I have 2 out of the 4, have 2 that's normal weight, that whatever they eat, it doesn't seem to bother them, but then the other 2, it does. And they're a little heavier. So it's harder to figure out how to help everybody in that situation. So I've spent the last forever trying to figure out this balance for everybody. I started reading a book. It was called The Truth About Vegetarianism, which helped me because I was thinking, oh, well, this is going to tell all about how awesome being a vegetarian is. This is great. And since we're like glorified vegetarians, then this will be great. Oh my goodness. It did not help me any. All it did was make me sadder because it began to talk about how our body needs the protein, our brain needs the protein, everything functions through, like, we do not need any carbs. We don't need any, like, it started going through all this stuff. I was like, oh my word. So, like, now my kids have no hope. I mean, like, I was still in this, what am I going to do phase. So, over the last 5 or 6 years, 6 years, I guess, I have been on this journey of searching, like, how to make everybody's bodies function at the best that we can. I'm going to give you a few statistics because this was sad to me when I found this. Over 58 million Americans are overweight. That's almost half of us. Additionally, over 40 million Americans are obese. That's a third of us. And with over 3 million of our citizens that are considered morbidly obese. which of course I feel like all goes back to our food. Everything goes back to our food. Everything that we're eating on a daily basis. All of our things that we have to put into our bodies. Along with this outrageous obesity level comes outrageous levels of disease caused by obesity, including 5 of the top 10 causes of death in our nation today. That is sad. That is very sad. I don't want to see my kids suffer with that. I know I have yo-yo dieted for so long, it's just not even funny. And I got tired of that yo-yoing constantly. And I began to find some real answers. So I want to give you just a few things that that I did and I have learned over the last few years that has totally helped me and to find balance to some degree. Whether you're a vegetarian or just eat regular. Now, like, I can have protein. So, like, for me, like, doing the Atkins, I could, like, eat tons of protein and tons of vegetables. I was fine. It did not affect me, but my kids cannot do that. So eventually I found the intermittent fasting, which is amazing, and it is great. You go for 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours without eating at all, and then during your window of time, you are able to eat a certain amount. Not a certain amount, but you can eat basically whatever you want to within this time span. But you still don't want to graze all day long, like just constantly putting something in your mouth. You want to think about it. Like, you have a meal, like it would be like a late breakfast and a early dinner kind of thing. Like, you're going to have 2 meals in that span. You're basically cutting out 1 meal a day. One thing I absolutely love about this is if you're one that just absolutely has to have breakfast, then you can separate your time the way you need to. Like, so I have a questionnaire that will help you to find your particular time span and your particular fasting time for you. So it can be customized to whatever is best for your life and the way that you function on a daily basis. But the thing that I love about it is that I'm not a big breakfast eater. I absolutely hate breakfast. So for me, my time is from 10 to 5 every day, and it works perfectly. But, some people's maybe later, it may be earlier in the day, but that's the time that works perfectly for me. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. So if you want to know more about that, then shoot me an email. It's Mary, Mari, Handley, Handley, 1 @gmail.com. And I will send you a little questionnaire to fill out, and we'll get some information, and I will help you find your particular time that is good for you. That has been one of the best things that I ever found. It was wonderful. The second thing, that whether or not you are vegetarian or not vegetarian, or have any special dieting needs, especially when it comes to fasting, if you're diabetic, you really can't fast. But that's the beauty of this, because you're not fasting an entire day. It's still customized to what your body needs, and so we take all that into consideration too, which is great. And that's something that when I was in this moment of not being able to, it was a time that I had to eat no matter what. But once I started getting my body into the system, then it worked great, and I didn't have any problems with getting that slump in the middle of the day or getting that sicky feeling. I don't do that like I used to, and it's amazing. I also found some wonderful supplements that I have used that are absolutely amazing and I love, and they're great to help keep your appetite suppressed so you're not crazy, but at the same time it gives you energy that you don't feel, but you're not jittery. You're not like jumping all over the place and going nuts. So that's another thing that I have found that I absolutely love and I have to have all the time. So if you want to know more about that too, add that to the email. And then the third thing that I wanted to share with you is when the kids, because they have the PKU and they cannot have the protein, then I am able to customize things that they can have, and we kind of tweak their protein levels just a touch, not bunches, but just a touch. And allow them a few little perks that is able for them to keep the protein amounts that they need, but yet it's not affecting their brain. And that has been a wonderful too, because one thing I have found as I was learning about vegetarianism, and we need the protein, that if you're not getting enough protein, if you're not eating enough food, particular, and if you're not getting all the minerals and the, if you don't have the minerals, this is an important fact too. If you're not getting minerals in your diet, all of them that you need, that the mineral deficiency is the cause of all of our chronic issues that are going on. I never realized that, did not understand that at all. But that is a huge, huge factor in all of our diseases that we have going on at the moment. So there again, I found the best mineral to be able to put into my system that's actually able, my system can absorb it and keep hold of what it needs to have, and that it's not getting just randomly everywhere. Because a lot of our things that we have, all of our vitamins and our minerals and the different things just over the counter, our body absorbs in a certain way. Like you're going to have a certain amount of fat, or you're going to have a certain amount of water base. You're going to have a certain amount of different things for your body to truly absorb everything. There are so many people that their body just does not absorb certain things. And so I have found this that is perfect that your body absolutely can absorb, that works for everybody. And that is a huge game changer when your body is needing these kind of things and you're not getting everything that you need through your diet. You've got to be able to have these things. So that is a huge, huge help. So that is one thing that also I will send you the information on. Just send me an email and I will send that out to you. Those are the biggest things that I have found that have helped us more than anything. By doing this, I lost 80 pounds. Feel like a whole nother person. I felt like a whole person was gone off of me. I feel like even through all of this, I have found the depression is lifted. So many things that have come from this last few years. So if you want to know more and you want to truly understand what it's like to feel better and feel like you can actually function with your kids again and enjoy your family and enjoy your life again, then shoot me an email, because I'm telling you this, your life is about to be changed. It is going to be changed for the better. It's going to feel like a new person, and you are going to feel like $1,000,000. So shoot me an email and I will get all of that sent out to you. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.